All right, everybody. So for today, this is going to be our last review before we take our test, our quarter three test. Remember, the quarter three test is a combination of the Unit 5 and the Unit 6 word wall. That's what we're going to be using the most. So here's a couple more problems just to kind of get you into math mode here. So question number one says the graph below shows a dilation. All right, but don't forget, when we're looking at a dilation, we always have to ask ourselves, who's the pre-image and who's the image? AKA, who's the OG and who's the new? Well, clearly this is the OG, this is the new. And so one of the things that they ask for is it a reduction or an enlargement? Well, clearly my original picture got bigger, so this is an enlargement. So because of that, I know my K has to be bigger than the number one. And honestly, that's really all we need. If you think about it, look at the choices. Reduction, reduction, no, those are out. We know it's an enlargement, and according to our word wall, see, when it comes to dilation, yeah, that means multiplication, of course, but enlarging means your K has to be bigger than the number one. So if you look at both of these two choices here for enlargement, this is the only one that's actually bigger than one. So that's why this is our answer. It's the only choice that's actually bigger than one. 1/3 would have been a reduction. So just that one simple fact already got us one of the answers for the test here in this case. Now, if we did need to find it, look at that Q. We can pick any of these points. In fact, let me pick the letter R because it's easier. The point for R is 3, 3. So R prime is 3, 3. So regular R was 1, 1. And remember, this is the new, this is the OG. And we're only doing this because I know there's a question on the test that also asks you about scale factor. So when they ask you to find the scale factor, remember the rule is new over OG. So I'll pick this point and this point, 3 over 1, which is just 3. And there's the same answer we had earlier. So there's a question on the test where they want you to find just a scale factor. Remember, all you have to do is pick the same letter, right? Write the coordinates, pick one of the numbers, and then it's new over OG, just like we've done before. Now, since we can see number 3, we might as well do number 3 now. So let's check out number 3 here. All right, so for number 3, we're going to bring in our color coding, of course. And when we do our color coding, the rule is if they're the same color, they're equal. But we already said this is a parallelogram. So this is a Unit 5 question. So I'm going to flip my word wall over, and here it is. See, in a parallelogram, these two, right, different colors will add up to 180. But if they're the same color, they're actually equal to each other. So in this case, D and B are equal to each other. So you know what? I'm going to continue my color coding here. D, D, B, B, B. Anything with a D or a B, I already gave it its green color in this case. And then, of course, we know that the A should be the same as the C. All right, well, let's see. There's a C right there, C right there, and an A right there. Remember what the rule is. If they are opposite, they are equal to each other. If they are different colors, meaning they're consecutive, then they'll add up to 180 degrees. So looking carefully here, a green and an orange, there's no way they can be equal to each other. A green and a green, no, they're supposed to be equal to each other. Green and green are equal. They don't make 180. Look at this one. An orange with a green, an orange with a green. In this case, it's C and B. According to the word wall, as soon as you have angles like this or like this or like this, if they're consecutive, they're going to make 180. There's our first true statement. Now I'm just going to make sure the other one, look, an orange and a green are definitely not equal to each other. So we can cross that out, and there's our answer. We found that our answer is the letter C. All right, let's keep this thing going. Now, if we look at question number 4, it says a rhombus is shown below. All right, you know what? We're still in the Unit 5 word wall. So here's everything we know about a rhombus. So in a rhombus, we know all these sides are equal. So I'm going to bring all of this in. These are all equal to each other. and the big angles are equal to each other. So if I did that green and orange thing, the big angles are equal to each other. But I don't want to put that in the picture here because notice how they're being cut. So let's see here. So the big angles are equal to each other. All right, let's keep looking at our word wall. Remember, this is the type of question where I bring everything in that I see in my word wall. So notice I see 90s in here. So there's 90s in there. And then look at the other marks. I'm not talking about the parallel stuff, but we're talking about these right here. It says this segment is equal to this one, and this segment is equal to this one. Not all four are equal, not in this case. But then we also mentioned one last little thing. Look at that. All the little angles are equal to each other. Now, that's why I didn't want to bring in the colors, but here's what they're telling us. They're saying this little angle is the same as this one, and right across the other pink one, this one and this one are equal. And of course, this one is equal to this one. This one is equal to this one. We just brought everything we could in from these word walls. And now we're very carefully gonna read these through and try to see which one is true and which one is false. We are looking for the one that is true. All right, first one, EA. So EA has a double mark. Then it says it's equal to EB. EB has a triple mark. A double and a triple mark are not equal to each other. So that's a false statement. We can cross that one out. Then we keep looking. AC. A to C. There's this diagonal that has these two double ones. Is congruent to BD, it says, to this one. Well, first of all, they don't even have the same marks for all four. So there's no way that AC is the same as BD either. So that's a false statement as well. Oh, I see a 90, but let's see if they have the right angle. They said there's a 90, and we're right, there's a 90. But look at where the 90s happen. They happen where the letter E is. There's no letter E in this angle at all. So if there's no letter E here, then they have the wrong, or they have the 90 in the wrong spot, at least down here. See, they said B, C, D. They said this big angle is 90. Yeah, we don't know that. The 90 had to happen with the E. The E should have been the middle letter. So there's another false statement. So now let's see and hope they didn't do a typo on this thing. So let's find out. CBE. CBE. So they're talking about this angle right here. I'm just going to color it in. They're talking about this dark little angle. And then look at that again. They put the letter B in the middle. So they said ABE. Well, that's the other little one right there. Well, that's one of the things that we mentioned. We said, according to our word wall, the two little ones are equal to each other. Well, there it is. We found the one true statement that we needed. Now, let's keep it going. We want to get you started on that test as soon as possible. So for this one, yeah, they gave me 4 points, right? They gave me an M. They gave me a point for R. They gave me a point for S. And of course, they gave me a point for T. But if we read the question carefully, it says, if MRST is dilated, so we're going to do a dilation here. And according to our word wall, dilation just means I'm going to multiply. So that's what we had to learn. A dilation means I'm going to multiply. Using the origin as the center of dilation and a scale factor of 4. There it is. There's the magic number we're going to need. We're going to multiply by 4. That's all we need to do here. But if I read carefully, they did say you are only going to do it for S prime. That's the only one that matters. So then the only coordinate I care about is this one right here. So I'm going to take that S, which is 3, 1. And according to our notes, it says we're going to multiply by 4. Then I'm going to multiply everybody by 4. So then S prime is going to be 12, comma 4. And there it is. Look at that. There's our answer. But you have to pick very carefully. Don't rush through this thing. Double check your numbers if you need to. All right. So yes, these are all questions very similar to the ones on the test, but we just want to get to that math mode, right? Thinking math before you take this test. So you should have your word wall ready, of course, ready to go for the test. We have two more problems to do, but again, have that word wall handy, have that Desmos ready to go. Now that we look at the backside, so look at the backside of this problem here, or this paper. It says triangle car. I believe that's a typo. That should be triangle bat is shown below. So we have triangle bat, and it's already there for me. And look, they were nice enough to give me all my coordinates already. So they said, graph the image of bat. They did that already. Using a dilation with a center of 0, 0 and a scale factor. Hey, there it is. The magic word dilation means we're going to multiply, and we're going to multiply everything by, well, it says a half. Look at that right there. So we're going to multiply everything by a half. So all I'm going to do is take half of everybody here. So I'm going to multiply by a half for the x, multiply by a half for all the y's. So everybody gets cut in half. And again, you have Desmos. I would type in half on Desmos and then go times, and then just start typing in every number. So let Desmos help you with this. But look, what's half of 4? 2. Half of 4 again, 2. What's half of -4? Well, -2, right? Same numbers. Half of 2 is just a 1. Half of -2 is -1. And half of -6 is -3. There. I have my first points. Now remember, when you're doing this on the test, you need to draw these out very carefully. So be careful with the math, and then be careful with drawing it. So I'm going to tell you some of the mistakes that people have made in the past. So they said 2, 2, 2, 2 up. And right there, there's a first mistake. If all you do is draw a dot and you don't tell us what letter that represents, you're going to lose out on an easy point. Don't forget, this one is B prime. We need to know which one is which. -2, 1. So I go back 2, down 1. This is A prime. And finally, T is -1, -3. So there is T prime. And then we just connect the dots. All right, so there we go. We have our graph. Oh, I just noticed something here. Little mistake there, sorry. I don't know if you caught that there, but the point was -2, +1. It felt like it was a little too low. So -2, +1 was the point. There, this one makes more sense now. All right, you see, as soon as I saw the picture, it didn't quite look like this triangle anymore. It looked a little smaller, a little skinnier. It was just off, right? Now this one looks a little bit more like just a smaller version of this one. But something was off the first time, and that's usually how you can tell if you made a little mistake. All right, but now that right there would earn me 2 points on this. 1 for getting the right numbers, 1 for drawing and labeling correctly. But then they said do this. They said, okay, take these new numbers. So let me write them down first. So I'm going to take the numbers we just found, 2, 2, -2, 1, -1, -3. And then look at what it says, your x's. And this is where people, again, if you're not paying attention right now, unfortunately, this is where we're going to get you. It says, look at what they want you to do to your x's. It says +5. So here are all my x's. Then I'm going to add 5 to all of these x's right here. And I'm going to take care of that first. 2 + 5, okay, that's 7. 5 and -2, that's 3. -1 and 5, well, now we have a 4. There, we took care of the x's. And then when I look at the y's, they said, well, just do a +2 for all your y's. Then all I'm going to do is add 2 to all of my y's here. So 2 + 2 is 4. 1 + 2 is 3. And then -3 + 2 is -1. And now we're ready to just draw this thing out here. We're going to draw this triangle. So 7, 4. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, this is the one we're calling B double. A is 3, 3. 1, 2, 3, 3, 3. All right, a little bit of an overlap. That's okay. It happens sometimes. And 4, -1. 4, -1. And there's your T double. And then we just connect the dots. And just like that, remember, this green triangle and that blue one need to be the exact same size because this was just a translation and nothing else. But that right there will earn you 4 points on the test for your drawing with the labeling, and of course for finding your brand new points. But remember, you're being told exactly what to do. Dilation means multiply. Right here they said all your x's add a 5, all your y's add a 2. They're letting you know exactly what to do to every number. And then finally, the last one for practice here, it says, given the diagram below, show the triangles are similar. Explain why the triangles are similar. Well, remember, if you wrote this in your word wall, you should already have the answer for the explanation. See? Angle, angle similarity. All you have to do is just show that two angles are congruent, right? Two pairs. Look at that. Two pairs of angles are congruent. And once you do this, then what's your reason for saying they're similar? Angle, angle similarity. It's the only rule we use. So when they're asking for stuff like, hey, explain why these two triangles are similar. Yeah, this is the only reason. And if you don't write this down, you're letting a point go away from you or get away from you. So remember, they want me to show that two angles are congruent here. Well, right off the bat here, if I were to think of these two triangles as being separate, we know this angle and this angle are congruent. So I'm just going to say for short, angle B is congruent to angle B. I'm seeing them as two separate triangles. And the reason for that is, well, that's the reflexive property. Wait, what am I talking about? This is vertical angles. So this is vertical angles. All right, but I need one more. Well, you can't forget the fact that they are letting us or showing us that these two lines are parallel to each other. And if these two lines are parallel to each other, remember we have one basic rule that we can use, and that's to create a Z pattern. So I have my two lines. Now I can trace this line or this one. It doesn't matter which one, but I can create a Z from it. See, if I go like this, there's the Z pattern, which now means this angle, the E, is congruent to the C. So angle E is congruent to angle C. And the reason for that, when you make that Z pattern, it's in your word wall, these are alternate interior angles. But that's it. There's all the proof I need. So when you do this on the test, you won't have to do it for all of them. On the test, you're going to pick one picture. That's all you're going to do. You're going to pick one and just work with that one. So you find whichever one's easier for you. But as soon as we have these two angles marked in our diagram, I'm ready to say angle, angle, similarity. It's the only reason we have. Don't forget, it's the only reason we have to say the triangles are similar. So now, what if I had chosen this picture? Well, here's how I would attack this one. I have to find two angles that are the same. Well, these are the same. Look, they both say 60. So angle P is congruent to angle X because they both equal 60 degrees, right? We see that there. But when I look at this other one, I see a 70 and a 50. They're not equal to each other. But we've talked about how to find angle R. So we're going to try to find angle R. Now remember the three angles of a triangle, they add up to 180. So I'm going to go 180, take away 70, take away the 60. And when I do that, I end up with an answer of 50. Well, we have officially found now two angles that are equal to each other. This 50 matches with that 50. So then angle R is congruent to angle Z because they're both equal to 50. And that's it. Look at that. We have enough information now to say, are they similar? We can say yes, similar by angle, angle similarity. Remember, that's the statement they want me to make. And my proof is in my picture. So like I said, on the test, they're going to give you like 4 of these. What you need to understand is you do not do all of them. Read directions carefully. It's going to tell you to pick just one. So you have to say which one you're going to work with. And you do the work that you need, but you have to show me two angles that are congruent to each other. The numbers are a lot easier, of course, because it's just basic math and you can state it. If you use something like this, well, it's in your word wall. You're just going to have to bring in some of the words that go with it as well. All right, with that said, get your word wall ready. Get that Chromebook out. Put this away. Remember, you're only allowed to have your word wall out. And take your time. Please read the questions very carefully. The first 15 are online, the last 5 are on paper only. Good luck, everybody. And remember, I'll be online through GoGuardian in case you have any clarifying questions, or if you want to know, if you want me to still do a final check for you, even though I'm at a meeting, I'll be able to do the final check with you. So you can just send me a message through GoGuardian to say, can you do a final check? And I'll tell you which ones to work with. All right. Good luck, everybody.